Hi, this is Terri. Welcome back to my channel. If you are anything like me and anyone that I know these days, it's another challenging moment. We just got word that we are supposed to shelter in place for 3 weeks, with a few exceptions in terms of going to the market or I think getting prescriptions if we need it, and then helping others in need. But really with very limited time outside or away from our home, which is going to be incredibly challenging. With Ray, you're not too terribly upset about this, are you?
I'm not upset about having to stay home, but I could do without having to stay home with all of y'all in the
Okay,
same
that's your
house.
biggest concern, is staying home with all of us. But we did drive down to San Diego to pick up our son Adam, who is experiencing the hashtag freshmanyearinterrupted. And he's now home and not incredibly happy about staying inside. At least he was able to watch the Jamie Oliver video and understand the concept of flattening the curve, and why this is not just another flu season, that this is a global pandemic, and it's something that we all need to take seriously, which makes it all the more frustrating when we see people in places who are not acknowledging that this is real. I think a little bit has to do with our federal leadership, who basically had called it a hoax for way too long, and people had a false sense of security and are having trouble really shifting gears to focus on the severity and the gravity of the entire situation. And I don't know about you, but I am feeling incredibly anxious at various points throughout the day, and it feels
I thought you were
like...
going to say, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
No, I'm not feeling 22. I'm feeling every bit of my 49 and almost 50 years of age. Speaking of which, I'm supposed to turn 50 in less than 3 weeks. And fortunately, I'd already decided to postpone celebrations until I was 52. So this is not going to have that big of an impact. We're just going to kind of let 50 come and go, and then we'll see where we end up. And then when I turn 52, that will be a big year. Why 52? I don't know. Just random. I just don't
There
like...
are 52 cards in a deck of playing cards.
Are you calling me a joker? Anyway, so the next 3 weeks are going to be very interesting, but throughout the day, I just kind of feel like this emotional roller coaster of, you know, everything's going to be okay, to it's the end of the world as we know it. Yes, I hope I put that earworm of an REM song in your head for a little bit. It is kind of bouncy and upbeat, and it's fun to try to sing along to, for those of us who actually know what that song is. Ray, do you know that song?
I mean, I know the tune of like that one line.
And that's it. Yeah, it's so sad. We need to change that very, very quickly. Anyway, as far as the anxiety, I have found that as I focus on work and stop looking at social media, I stop looking at the news, that I feel much, much better, and I'm much more able to deal with the situation, deal with making sure my kids have what they need, and that we are all copacetic. And then when I, just like today, I started looking at it, and 15-20 minutes later, my anxiety was back up. It was about the time that the news came out that we were supposed to shelter in place, which wasn't helpful. And then I looked at how far the market was down, which wasn't helpful. And I know that we have a long road to recovery, not just for people physically, but economically, socially, we are going to be suffering for a long time, and that just freaks me out. But right now I'm trying to remain optimistic and hopeful that we will come out of the other side in a better place. And it's just a matter of finding ways to make it so that I don't get too caught up in my head. Yesterday I had the opportunity to FaceTime with my friend Candace, who is stuck in Des Moines, Iowa. Her family is in Portland, but she may have been exposed to someone with the coronavirus, and she doesn't want to get her family sick. So she is staying in the program that she's at in Des Moines and doing the best that she can. And she and I FaceTimed for about an hour yesterday, and it was really helpful for my own sanity, and it was probably very helpful for hers. And we are checking in on a daily basis to make sure that we can support each other. I also talked to my cousin Casey, who's in Boise, Idaho, and decided that we need to be talking more frequently. We'll be touching base this weekend. She checked in with her dad, who is my uncle, who I write with regularly and lives in the middle of Nevada. And apparently he is, and a lot of people probably in the middle of Nevada, like other people around this country, are not really recognizing the gravity of the situation, which is stressing her out. And at the same time, there's not much that she can do about it. There's not much that I can do about it. And so it's just a matter of us having the opportunity to talk. But I realized that having that face-to-face conversation with Candace via FaceTime was so helpful. And that's what I'm encouraging other people to do. I am scheduling virtual cocktail hours. Okay, 9 o'clock in the morning might be a little bit too early for the virtual cocktail hours, but trying to schedule some virtual cocktail hours so that we can connect and support each other. And even though we can't be in the same room, we can at least see each other face to face, which I think is incredibly important. And I've actually stolen this idea from Ray, because Ray puts on, is it FaceTime groups that you turn on and then you just let it go?
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think this is something that we can definitely learn from our younger counterparts in terms of leveraging technology to stay connected without having to be in the same room or the same location. So I plan on doing that. So I can do a virtual co-working with some people who are in other parts of the world. Candace rejected the idea because she said, oh, it's too much fun to talk and I'm afraid that I have too much to do. And I'm like, I am perfectly capable of co-working and not being totally disruptive. Jacqueline can attest to this as she comes over periodically and co-works. One of the other things that I found to be really helpful in reducing my anxiety is that when I get outside of myself and I'm helping other people, when I get outside of my brain. And because that brain is an active place, and it can go in many directions, both positive and negative. So when I'm helping others, I feel a little bit better. And maybe it's also kind of a delusional feeling of control, especially when I'm doing activities and doing work. I feel like there's some semblance of my life, or there's some normalcy to my life that I can establish some control around. So any time of great uncertainty, I can feel I've created some solid ground so that I'm not completely adrift as we're going through all of this.
It's also nice to just get stuff done.
There's stuff that still needs to get done regardless of what's going on. I mean, even though it feels like our economy is coming to a screeching halt and it feels like the financial situation is just crashing around us, we are still able to be productive just in a different way, and we're still able to contribute to society and to the economy and to our own education and personal and professional development. So all is not lost, right, Ray?
Yeah, no, we're still fighting.
Yeah, we're not giving up. When I was talking to Candace, it was a really great conversation. We were talking about the importance of language, and she emphasized that there's a difference between cancel and postpone. We have had to postpone our Palm Springs trip, which was supposed to be over spring break, and now we're not doing it. And so I will not be celebrating my birthday in Palm Springs. Once again, I'm not doing that till I'm 52 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I still do expect a cake. A white cake with white frosting.
Well, that's only if there's flour
Oh,
at
they'll
the
be.
supermarket.
We'll make. You know what? Let's make sure to set that aside and freeze some butter and make sure that we've got we could at least make a cake for me on my birthday.
I'll make a mug cake for you.
Oh, that's okay too. Which it also brings up that we've been doing a lot of stress cooking as well.
Oh yeah, so much.
So
we have too much food.
Well, no,
not really.
No,
We've
not
been
really.
eating it.
We're gonna be good. Plus, Adam's girlfriend Sophia is coming to stay with us for a couple of days. Since they were all in the petri dish of the dorms, I'm just kind of assuming they all have the same germs, and if they're infected, they're all infected. We've already spent time with Adam, so it's, we're not creating any more new virus vectors by having her here with us. But Friday night we made Indian food and made an amazing butter chicken recipe, so we are definitely doing that
good.
again. We can improve our naan recipe, and the lamb curry needed some work as well, but we still did a really good job with that. And then last night, because we went to the grocery store in order to stock up and I was looking around at what was left, I decided that it was better to leave the normal stuff for people who can't cook creatively and don't want to take risks. And so we picked up some duck. We also looked around at what was abundant versus what was wiped out. And there were potatoes and then there was asparagus. They were restocking the asparagus. So we ended up making a duck in a fizzy orange sauce on a bed of mashed potatoes and a side of roasted asparagus. And that was really good. We've already put those blog posts out on Medium under Cooking with Ray,
Link in
REI.
description.
Link in description, so you can go check that out. And if you're looking for cooking ideas, we are going to continue to post things about creatively cooking out of the pantry and just helping to inspire those who are struggling. So this is once again, it's by us getting outside of ourselves and doing something creative, making it, posting a blog makes us feel productive. And we're also putting stuff out there for other people to benefit from. So we are getting outside of ourselves, which is, incredibly important.
Plus stress cooking. Yeah.
Hashtag stress cooking. My friend Lynn Ann is in Ohio, and she's apparently stress baking. And I think I even got invited to a quarantine cooking Facebook group. And oh my gosh, there's some beautiful stuff that people are posting.
I made dumplings.
Oh my gosh, the dumplings you made on Saturday. So when my husband Zeke and I drove down to San Diego, we left at 3:20 a.m.
Gross.
We got there at about 10:40 a.m., packed him up, cleaned up the room, which wasn't too much because he hadn't even been in there 3 months. Checked him out, and we took him and his friends out to lunch, and then hopped in the car, and we were on the road about 1:40, stopped at Harris Ranch in Central California, where there was no social distance happening. It was like they didn't even know that this global pandemic was going on. It was packed. We had a quick dinner before we got back on the road, and then we were home, I think we were home about 10:30.
I was already in bed asleep.
Ray was asleep because you'd made these beautiful pork dumplings. Ray rode their bike down to the store, picked up a couple of provisions and supplies, and then came home and made these beautiful ones. I'm hoping you'll put a picture in because they were so pretty. And
plus, I put a picture on our Instagram at Time and Champagne, THYME. Link in description. Shameless plug.
Well, we're putting content out there, so we'd love to have people take a look at it. So yes, I'm anxious and worried about the vulnerable in our society, the lack of social safety net that we have in our society, how greed has gotten us to this place, what the economic situation is going to be, not only for us, but for other people. What sort, are we going to make changes within our healthcare system? What is this going to look like? I don't even know. But at this point, we're taking it a day at a time, being optimistic, spending time together without killing each other, finding ways to maintain our sanity, and connecting with people who are not here with us, doing daily check-ins with my mom. For some reason, she wants to do the evidence of life text to make sure that we're doing okay, and then I get to check to make sure she's doing okay. My sister and my brother-in-law are delivering groceries to my parents because they are over 70, so they're in a risk group. And because I've got, a high schooler who's been in a petri dish of a high school and a college kid who's been in a petri dish of a college and dorm situation, I'm just assuming we are infected, and we're just trying not to get anybody else sick, assuming that we are carriers, even though we have no evidence of any sort of symptoms right now. So,
I sneezed that one time last week, so stay away from me.
Oh, speaking of sneezing, so Friday night, as we were getting ready to go to bed so that we could get a good night's sleep before getting on the road at 4:00. One of our cats came in with a big old gouge on the side of his face, and so my husband Zeke had to take him to the emergency vet at 9:15 on Friday night. Was able to leave him there, and at 2:30 in the morning picked him up, and $1,100 later, the poor kitty cat is in a cone, and he is sheltering in place with us for 2 weeks.
And he is pissed about it.
Is.
He wants to go out so bad.
Well, what's even funnier is our cats tend to spend a lot of time at the crazy cat people's house behind us, and they were concerned that they hadn't seen him in a couple of days and proceeded to give us a call and like, hey, how's your/our cat Felix doing? And so Zeke had to explain to him that he had been in a cat fight, and we can't ask questions because the first rule of Fight Club,
Don't talk
about Fight Club, so we really can't ask him what the deal is. Anyway, it's nice to know that the neighbors around us are concerned about our animals. I don't think we got the phone call for us. It was just simply about Felix, but that's not too bad. And I think with that, unless you've got something else, and with that, I thank you for watching. I thank you for subscribing. I'm sending you all an extra virtual hug because, well, COVID-19. And until next week, let go of perfection. Take some risks, just not health risks, and try to have some fun as we are all enduring an unprecedented time in the world, not just here in the U.S., not just in California, not just in the Bay Area, not just in Redwood City, but in the world. So take care.